there's people that are getting relief from this. It's an antacid, basically. A
Mhm.
lot of folks have digestion issues of acid reflux, and they're using this and it's working for them. It's like replacing some sort of either over-the-counter or prescription medicine.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dominique, and welcome to Eat with Dominique, the podcast for women with gluten sensitivities, IBS, and other gut challenges who want to eat confidently and pain free. What if one small seed could help ease digestive struggles, and it's been hiding in plain sight this whole time? Today, I'm sitting down with Arif Khan and Sabeen Hasan, the founders of Chikka Chikka, the roasted fennel seed digestive redefining gluten-free gut health and digestion. Arif and Sabeen share how their backgrounds as children of immigrants from India and Pakistan inspired the creation of Chikka Chikka, blending an Eastern digestive tradition with a Western flavor. Why people are turning to fennel to help with acid reflux. How digestion changes as we get older, especially for women. And why they refuse to turn their product into just another sugary snack. Be sure to listen all the way through for a special 15% off code exclusively for Eat with Dominique listeners. I can't wait for you to hear this. So, without further ado, grab a seat and let's eat with Dominique. I first heard about Chikka Chikka actually from my older sister. She was telling me there was like this delicious, like gluten-free, gut-friendly fennel seed digestive. So I wanted to learn even more about it from you guys. I guess to like jump right in from the beginning, what first got you thinking about Chikka Chikka?
So I guess starting from the very beginning, we had in, let's see, early 2024, we had recently come out of selling a restaurant. We were looking for the next thing to do and wanted to be able to focus on some sort of a food product, a shareable food item that, was something that was unique to our culture and something that we thought would be a fun new thing to introduce to the larger market. And so these fennel seed digestives are something that I grew up eating, something that I, often will grab after a meal or in between meals. And there wasn't really anything on the market that wasn't full of refined sugar or artificial colors. And there also wasn't anything that was convenient that you could grab and stick in your pocket and take on the road. And so those were some of the things that we were thinking about when we jumped into this Chikka Chikka venture.
Yeah, and you mentioned like before this, you were running, it was an abandoned like biker bar, right? You turned it into a restaurant.
That's right. We had just gotten married back in 2016, moved to the Hudson Valley. We're looking, for a house to buy, and we came across this abandoned biker bar that kind of piqued our interest, and so we looked into it, ended up taking the plunge and ran this restaurant for about 6 years.
Wow.
We ran it through COVID, and then in 2023 we ended up selling to another young couple that was keen on, having their own hospitality business, and so yeah, that was our introduction to the Hudson Valley and the community there and um, into the food industry as well.
Yeah. Was there anything in particular you learned from running a restaurant that you've been able to apply to this brand that you have now?
I think, I don't know, and Arif, you can probably chime in as well, but I think one thing that, neither of us had owned and run a restaurant before. Arif was a server, in his 20s, and as an architect, I had designed restaurants before, but had never actually owned and operated one. And I think being in that particular business, you kind of have to do everything. You, I was recently looking through old photos in my phone, and I found one of RF maybe a month after us buying the restaurant, you know, digging up a drain pipe. We like literally were on our hands and knees, like doing that sort of thing. We were, once the restaurant was open, we were serving tables, we were mixing drinks behind the bar. There was a period of time where I was in the kitchen. So we really had to put on a lot of hats and be able to do a little bit of everything. And so I think having been through that and then start launching another business, you kind of it really teaches you to be able to pivot and just learn a lot of different things because it certainly helps then to be able to grow the team and manage other folks to do those things once you've had a little taste of it yourself. So I don't know. That would be my takeaway. What about you, Arif?
Yeah, pretty similar. I mean, the restaurant business is a high failure business and it's very hands-on, especially a small scale. It's hands-on, slim profit margins. And I think from doing it, and I suppose doing it successfully, we gained a confidence, or some might say a delusion, that we could do other things that are difficult. So I think that's probably the biggest thing is, as a friend told me, he's like, oh, a lot of people talk about ideas, and he was pointing out that I or us, we actually follow through and do them. And I just think life is more fun that way. Having an idea and taking it to reality and seeing what happens. And if you fail, well, you do something else. It's yeah. So it probably gave us the confidence to start this business, which we had no idea how to do, but we learned. Um, and
Yeah.
seems to be going well for us.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And I feel like Chikka Chikka is more than like a snack, right? Like it's high fiber, it's gluten-free, it's gut friendly. What about those elements? Like what made you want to focus on having that kind of healthier snack? And how did fennel seed become kind of a star ingredient?
I mean, speaking for myself personally, like now in my mid 40s, everyone that is kind of going through that life change and, your gut changes and what you can eat, tolerances to certain types of food, those all start to shift. And I know that even among my friends and family members, just gut health and healthier eating is something that's top of mind. And, eating fennel seeds is something that's so common in South Asian households that you don't really even think of it as, um, you know, some active health conscious activity that you're participating in. For me, it was after a meal, in our medicine cabinet in the kitchen, there was a little, vessel that had fennel seeds in it. And I would reach in and grab some after a meal. And that was just a part of the routine. And so being able to share that and have it be something novel for other folks is kind of an interesting experience. It's just such a common practice, I think, in our households.
Yeah. And for me, I'm say less of a fennel fiend than Sabine is, but what I liked was that it was something that doesn't exist in the sort of American market. And so
Mm,
the idea of bringing something new was exciting to me.
yeah.
Um, and they say you shouldn't be the person being the first to move, we'll say, but it's more enjoyable, I think.
Yeah. It's like what you guys did at the restaurant. Like you brought something new and it ended up
Yeah.
paying off.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you make sure Chikka Chikka is safe for people who have like a gluten allergy while also making sure it's delicious as it is?
Sabine, you want?
Sure. So we're currently processing the uh, the product in with two partners, two different facilities. One of them is completely gluten-free. It's a facility that roasts coffee. And the second one is a bean to bar chocolate facility that is also gluten-free. So we're, from the perspective of just being in a space where these things are processed, I think more carefully was important to us. And as we're learning and growing, we're hoping that we can streamline those processes and really hope that people can enjoy the product and not worry about things that would impact their dietary restrictions or and whatnot.
Yeah. And I know you guys experiment also with like a lot of different flavors like cinnamon and cardamom and mint. Like, how do you decide which flavors to try?
It was kind of a process early on. One of the flavors that I personally enjoy and have liked since I was younger is one that blends like coconut, for example, coconut
Mm,
flakes, but in developing these, and because it's, it's our first dive into this type of a packaged food product, we were finding that the coconut was a little bit more finicky to work with, just to keep it um, having a long shelf life. And so we ended up choosing ingredients that were a little bit more readily shelf stable. So we tried a bunch of different flavors. We have a few other ones in the works right now that we're hoping to develop in the coming months, and hopefully get out there in early 2026. But these three kind of, we thought, covered a range. Traditional fennel seed digestives have a strong menthol flavor to them.
Mm.
So the mint, kind of tapped into that for us. Cinnamon is something that's not traditionally in fennel seed digestives. But it's cinnamon bark is something that Arif had an affinity for, and I think he's been trying to get folks to chew on cinnamon bark for some time. And we found that chewing on it actually was a refreshing thing. I was a little skeptical at first, but so in that blend, we actually use a coarse ground um, cinnamon bark, and so when you're chewing on it, you really get, if you like cinnamon, you really are going to get that flavor.
Mm-hmm.
And then cardamom, of course, is sort of, I think it had its heyday a few years ago in the American, restaurant industry. You saw it touching a lot of different mainstream food items. And so I think people associate that with chai and like South Asian flavors. And so we thought it was like a good entry flavor for folks to try. As well. So with that, we've got this trio. I think it gives a range of flavor. They're all, I think, kind of accessible. So
Yeah. And when you guys like, so I know you said that growing up, like you would have the different fennel seeds. Like, had experience like cooking? Like, did you guys have an interest in that even before like the restaurant, or was this like completely new to you?
I love to cook. I think any misconceptions or romantic ideas I had about cooking in an intimate setting with friends to in a to then cooking for a larger audience in a restaurant were had have definitely changed. But I think using food as a way to connect with people and connecting with people over food, I think is something that's always been important to me. Arf and I love to host friends and family in our home. So I think that connection over food is something that's resonated with both of us.
Yeah. When you were first starting Chikka Chikka, was there anyone who was like, this is crazy, you guys are crazy? And how did you overcome those doubts and keep moving forward?
I think I think all of our friends are used to us now doing crazy things. So
Hmm.
yes, they did say, "This is crazy, you're crazy," but sort of with a smile, like go forth and do it because
Hmm.
you're going to do it. No one tried to talk us out of it. When we opened the restaurant, we had friends trying to talk us out of it and giving us the reality of like, okay, this is going to be a money pit and you're going to be miserable and high failure rate. We had friends trying to talk us out of it, but we did it. This time, no one really tried to talk us out of it. But we did have a friend, Ashley, who's shout out to her. She started a brand called the Matzah Project.
Mm.
They have really amazing packaging and it's really cute reimagining matzah. And so she was a great advisor.
Mm.
And she gave us lay of the land that it's a tough industry, slim profit margins, but if you have an idea and you're passionate about bringing it forward, you don't let those things stop you, for better or worse, right? So.
Yeah.
Right. And we're about a year and a half into it. And I think, you know, similar to our experience with the restaurant industry, it's been a very eye-opening journey. You learn so much behind the scenes about the food industry and the packaged food industry and grocery and big retail and you know, kind of coming up in this industry now with other founders that have other products. You see the different paths that folks can take.
Hmm.
You can try to get into Whole Foods, and And I think prior to being in it, that seems like a pretty reasonable goal to, and to get into Whole Foods and then you've got it made and you sort of, once you learn a little bit more about the process and all of the layers and what is required to get there and that it is not a magic you know it's not just like a magical key that you walk through the door of Whole Foods and now you've made it. It's actually just the beginning of another very complex and difficult, I think, journey potentially.
Hmm.
So, I think we're working through how do we keep this business something that is palatable to us, where we
Hmm.
still feel like we're able to connect with folks one-on-one, with other small business owners and feel good about it and not maybe you know uh chase like this dream of like making it really big super fast.
Hmm. Have there been any other like big surprises since you guys launched that like you weren't expecting?
Certainly, we weren't expecting the level of sales we had the past few months. That was,
Hmm.
it's been a great thing. We were featured in Wirecutter, which is a New York
Wow.
Times gift guide.
Hmm.
And we had met them at a trade show and,
Hmm.
thought, they seemed like they liked it. And we're like, oh, this would be good. If they feature us, it would be good for publicity. We didn't realize how much it would impact us. Like it
Right.
was a game changer, and we are grateful for that.
Yeah.
Um, it introduced us to a lot of people. I mean, they have millions of people who subscribe to their guides, and they featured us on multiple buying guides, which was
Wow.
great. So yeah, we
Yeah.
had thousands of orders as a result of that, and we were
Wow.
literally just not prepared for it. Let's in all honesty, so because we've been scaling this kind of in a we don't have outside investors, so we're kind of scraping it or bootstrapping, as you say. Just using our own savings and just investing in a iterative manner. So we didn't realize we weren't ready for a huge amount of sales. So it's been amazing. But
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because I think we were talking and you like basically it sold out around Christmas time, right?
yeah, we sold
Yeah.
out before Christmas, which is a bummer.
Wow.
And that's gets at my issues of, not liking letting people down. I don't think anyone likes letting people down, but it's, yeah, we had maybe a couple thousand orders we couldn't fulfill by
Wow.
Christmas. Um, so yeah, most people are amazing. They're like, congratulations, that's great. I'll make other plans for stocking stuffers and send it to me when you have it ready. So that's what we're doing now.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess it suggests that like we weren't sure if this is a viable business, would there be enough demand? And now we know there is potential for demand.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it's
Um,
amazing, like you're saying, like seeing how going to that trade show and like just sharing the product and people
yeah,
learning about it, how that can just make all the difference in the world.
right, right.
Mhm.
Yeah. Kind of having that like one-on-one, like almost like personal interaction with the
Yeah,
customers. So like they meet you and they like see that you're the one behind the product. And like,
right.
yeah, I think that really helps a lot.
Yeah, and even like through emails and me sending out to over, thousands of people saying, sorry, we're sold out. And people responding and I responding back. And it's like people are longing for that connection, even through
Yeah.
email, that I'm not a AI bot, that I'm
Hmm.
actually human. And I think, yeah, people are appreciative of that too. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think
Um,
we also, it's if that hadn't happened, there is a certain amount of friction that
mm,
we kind of have endured over the last couple of months that I think we could see where the pinch points were and where we need to just work out some of our systems. And so again, like kind of I guess a blessing in disguise, certainly stressful in the moment, but now we got a taste of it. So I think in at the end of the day, it's a good thing to have gone through it.
yeah. Was there any flavor that was like surprising to you that was the most popular that people were like buying around that time?
no, I think cardamom continues to be it's kind of I think it's the prettiest package, but
Hmm.
it continues to be there's a lot of cardamom heads out there that I don't know. It's just like,
Yeah.
um, yeah. And so, I mean, what would happen is we'd sell out of the cardamom and put sold out. So then the other varieties sold out. Then we would put sold out on those. And so I think folks were just intrigued by the idea. Um, People like the tins, the portability of it, and they like that it has digestive benefits. So yeah, it's we're doing this thing which is like it's a medicine as food, right? So
Hmm.
food as medicine. So,
Yeah, and the tins are gorgeous. They're very, very
yeah.
pretty. I like them a lot.
Yeah. We didn't want to make more plastic junk. So our ideal is, and we have these refill pouches so people can continue to use the tins,
Mm,
but if they don't want to buy the refill pouches, our thought is that maybe they can use them for something else.
yeah,
So
that's amazing.
yeah.
So you guys talked a lot about kind of just trying things out and not holding back. Was there any like experiment or risk that you've taken with Chikka Chikka that surprised even you?
What do you got, Sabine?
Let's see. Surprising, let's see, your risk. I mean, I guess it's just because it's so new, we've tried a number of different markets. We thought as far as receptive demographic, women that are into, that are health conscious and eat well. This summer, we did a bunch of yoga festivals.
Mm, hmm.
So just, trying to tap into that wellness space. I don't know how risky one would consider that, but it was definitely, just something different. I think, in fact, all of 2025, we tried a number of different types of, um, spaces, whether it was, South Street Seaport, it was an outdoor Holi festival,
Mm,
or, a yoga festival in upstate New York. Just trying out these different spaces to see how different folks react and respond to the product.
Yeah.
So kind of just like learning and getting that in-person feedback.
Yeah, and
yeah.
I've got one that I thought of that was surprising. There's a major natural foods chain
Mm,
that folks are familiar with. Um, and they really liked the product, but their feedback was they wanted to see more, it's sweeter, sugar. And
mm,
we purposely avoided white sugar and we're using maple syrup, but they were suggesting that we candy it. They thought it would be more popular. And that's coming from a national natural foods chain. So I think maybe they were looking more at the sales. And so, we've certainly considered doing a candied version that's more palatable to most people. But when you look at that version, it's basically mostly sugar that people are eating.
right.
And if you look at our ingredients that we have now, basically everything is medicinal. And we kind of like that. So,
Yeah. And I think that's like the amazing thing too is being able to like stick to your guns essentially. Like you know what like you want
yeah.
the ethos of the company to be and not, changing it when you kind of made the
Yeah.
promise to the customer already. Yeah. How would you say that your background, Sabine, you as an architect and RF in UN partnerships, how has that helped you shape Chikka Chikka?
Um, like,
I mean, I
I
guess
guess,
the maybe the obvious answer is, in a balance of kind of the design and having it be something fun and interesting, but also something that resonates with all sorts of people. I think that that's a reflection of, I think, the perspective that both of us bring.
yeah, I mean, Sabine is not saying it, but she led the design of the tins, which people love, and the packaging.
Wow.
And I think she's really great. We had multiple women working on it. We had someone with a concept who's in Eastern Europe. There
Mm,
was an illustrator based in Israel. There was
wow.
a graphic designer based in California, and Sabine was able to kind of manage the team to come up with something really amazing. And we did it for fairly inexpensively. So, we got quotes in the US for, a company to come up with our packaging, 30,000 to 50,000, and they thought that was a good deal for us. Whereas we spent, maybe $1,000 or $2,000 all
Wow.
in. So I think that's a testament to Sabine's ability to and experience managing designers. For me, in the past, I've managed disasters, and so I guess I'm good with rolling with the punches or pivoting. And then I've done a lot of partnerships work, and I still see this as partnerships. We have our suppliers, the organization that helps make us make the product, the small independent stores we're working with. I just view that all as, and even Sabine and I working together. It's a great partnership. We're married, but we're also business partners. So yeah.
That's amazing. It's a good balance too, like the creative and then the problem solving and all of that. How would you say that Chikka Chikka reflects you all, like your background, your values, and how you approach like work and life?
Let's see. Trying to keep it like balanced and easy, accessible. I think yeah, what do you say, Arif?
Well, I don't know. There is that balance of East and West, right? So we are both children of immigrants from India and Pakistan. But we were born and raised in the US. And so we've taken this practice in South Asia of eating fennel seeds and then introduced a very American, North American ingredient of maple syrup,
Mm.
which from what we can tell, we're the only people in the world doing that, which is kind of fun. I don't think that, we're taking this thing from South Asia and then mixing with a very uh, Western ingredient of maple syrup. So and I think yeah, both of us were both a kind of balance of East and West. Um, and then we have this like, it's a very functional food as a medicine, but it's also in fun packaging. So it's kind of a nice balance where it's like, and maybe there's another thing where it's like this in between
Mm.
product, right? It's like
Mm.
when we bring it to larger retailers, their first question is, where do we put this?
Mm.
And
Mm.
they're like torn between putting it in the candy aisle or in the medicinal aisle or the snack aisle.
Mm.
And to me, I don't know, we love being in that in-between space. Um, um, so yeah, that's
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think that also, right now the path that we're wanting to take with the product is stay kind of small retail independent stores. And I think that's also a reflection, I think, of our values. And we'd rather be in a smaller space where, we have that personal interaction.
Mm.
And it just feels like more our vibe. And so we're exploring that. I think this year we're going to push more on that and really try to forge that path of like just doing more independent stores.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. Has there been any one like customer reaction that's really stood out to you? Like I know you talked about the emails, and emailing with them. Has there been anything else that's really stuck out to you?
Um, or if you want to take that, I feel
yeah,
like you've been seeing a
yeah,
lot
I
more
guess
of
I
the
get
messages
there's
come
been a
through.
bunch. People send sweet messages. It's nice.
Mhm.
Like they're like, I love this for myself. I want to buy it for all my friends, or all their relatives. So I see those orders coming in where they have a second order and there's like 10 tins.
Mm. Mhm.
Or
So
that
it's like,
it's like changed to the way that they eat,
right.
which
Right.
it's
Yeah.
certainly we made certain assumptions about, how people may like this and use it, but to hear
Yeah.
that feedback is still kind of surprising and
Yeah.
delightful, I guess.
And
Yeah.
definitely on like, there's people that are getting relief from this, like, because it's an antacid basically. And
Mm.
so a
Mhm.
lot of folks have digestion issues where they have acid reflux, and they're using this and it's working for them. So, in a way, like we have this, like for me, I don't have acid reflux, but maybe because I eat it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but it's just like, for me, it's just a fun snack, but for a lot of other people, it's like replacing some sort of either over-the-counter or prescription medicine, which had other side effects. So I think those are really nice. I mean, beyond people liking it, there's folks getting real relief from it. So
I
Yeah.
think there's also it's always fun when, sometimes we'll come across someone maybe at a show or something and they're asking about the product and they're like, oh, fennel, I didn't realize that, it did that. And then when you kind of like in the conversation start to point out like, well, you see it in various cuisines, show up in different formats, whether it's like a liqueur or a spice that's put into like a spicy food, or
Hmm.
a pastille, or like candied versions, that you really see it across so many different cultures. And so it's been there, just kind of hiding in plain sight. And in South Asia, we just happen to chew on it straight up.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's amazing, like you guys said, it is that like food is medicine. So it's something that tastes really good, but also like it's actually helping you every time you eat it.
Hmm.
What do you want someone to feel the first time that they eat Chikka Chikka?
Delight and surprise.
Yeah, I'd say like to be pleasantly surprised, and to kind of reach for some more, which we're hearing that people do often go back for seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a
Okay.
very specific flavor profile.
Mm.
There's, like any sort of nuanced food, there's people who love it and people who don't care for it. So, we know we're not going to be a product for everyone. We're not like candy or chocolate or, I don't know, pasta sauce or gummy bears. Like, um, so yeah, it's kind of neat that way. It's like, I don't know. I feel like there's a certain tribe of people that are into fennel, and and it doesn't have to be everybody. So, but
Yeah. So like you guys were saying, fennel is known for helping digestion. Is there a particular way that you recommend people eat it, or like a certain time that you recommend?
well, Sabine eats it all day,
I do
so that would probably be her recommendation. But
too.
typically, like just a half teaspoon after a meal or a teaspoon after a meal, especially if it's a spicy meal.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I mean, we didn't talk about it, but it also has like breath freshening, and I'll say even more than breath freshening. Like with gum and mints, it just kind of covers over breath, but like people with the fennel, it neutralizes. Like, if you like garlic a lot, and maybe your partner doesn't like you eating garlic, this is the perfect solution because it neutralizes the sort of flavors. Yeah, so it's a mouth freshener.
Mhm.
Yeah. Are there any other like health benefits to having fennel seeds?
There's a bunch. Uh, like folks can Google it, but so it's an antacid, it's anti-inflammatory. Um, so it works, that's how it works with helping with acid reflux. It re, you know, relaxes the muscles in your stomach that produce too much acid. It's a source of fiber. Um, and there's some studies that say it helps. I don't want to say this without getting in trouble, but there's studies that have suggested that it helps athletes
Mm.
in performance. And actually, the marathon, um,
Mhm.
the first marathon runner or whatever would chew fennel
Oh,
to
wow.
do his long distance running. So there are fields of fennel in that area of marathon Greece.
That's fascinating. I did not know
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like Sabine was saying, every culture, like Italians add it to sausage.
Hmm.
The Germans use it. The French use it. Chinese, it's one of the five
Hmm.
spices. So there's a lot of historical use of it.
Yeah. It's kind of like a hidden secret weapon, and now you guys are making sure
Yeah,
we all actually know about it.
right, right.
Yeah. So you're constantly experimenting and iterating. What's like the biggest lesson that you've learned about trying new things, about failing and succeeding and moving forward?
I guess it's important to be flexible, and you know, things will happen. Uh, and I think as I was alluding to earlier, sometimes, you're going to have to put on that other hat. I know Arif and I, part of why we work well together is we have our strengths that we lean on, and they happen to be complementary. But there are those times when RF needs a hand doing a thing that I don't normally do, or vice versa, and we have to just lean into that and get it done. So,
For anyone who's listening, who's thinking of like taking a leap or, pursuing a dream, what advice would you guys have for them?
Hmm. What advice? Just go for it. That's it. I mean, and if they want to reach out to us or to me, I don't want to offer Sabine's time, but I'm always happy to help folks. Um, Yeah, just if it's a business, you should know your numbers or find someone who can look at what it takes to have a profitable business, and knowing your needs is good.
I
What
would
else? I mean, there's a
I
lot.
would add
But,
that, I think both of us, between the two of us and with our work together, have now dabbled in a number of different industries. And I think specifically if someone is going into the packaged food business, we have found this space seems to be one of the most collaborative
Mm,
mhm.
open spaces where you often can, if you connect with another founder, there's plenty of opportunities. There's a lot of like local meetups and various organizations that support CPG founders. And you'll find someone that you hit it off with, and you can really like, exchange ideas and stuff in a way that is not always common.
mm,
Sometimes there's more competition and folks are sort of closed off, but we've really found
Yeah.
that in this space in particular, it's kind of special, and it makes it really nice to be learning something new and taking risks when you can, call up your buddy that maybe is in a similar place or was like, 2 or 5 or 10 years ago, and
mm.
they can really, just help talk you through it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Talk to people. Yeah, it's a great community. Um, the small independent founders that have something special they want to share with the world. They
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
And I think
passionate, but they're
like
also helpful. Yeah.
something that will credit Arif with is he's very resourceful and kind of able to, between when we were starting the restaurant and now, it's like tap into your local small business association resources. A lot of universities have incubator
Mm,
programs. There are, just like business development type resources that are out there in various communities, and folks are eager to help. So
yeah.
look out for those things.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. And I think, like you're saying, the community maybe is like so tight knit because everyone is so passionate, like you guys are. If you have a connection to the product that's beyond just like, oh, it's interesting. Like you really, it comes from your background and you want to help people. So I think that's pretty incredible.
I mean, also, what I like about our product is I don't feel like we're competing with anyone directly.
Mm,
Whereas if we had a hot sauce or a chocolate or whatever, we feel like we'd have to make a case that ours is better
mm,
than others. So I really enjoy not competing
hmm.
so, when it comes to that. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, I mean, if you have something that you feel is truly unique, yeah, share it with others.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, it's time for the rapid fire now. So the first one
Wow,
is
what was that? What have we been
I
doing?
know that was rapid. The whole thing. Yes, I know. You guys, I mean, you guys are just answering so well, honestly. So the first one is sweet or savory.
Savory.
Sweet. Are
Yeah,
we both answering? What is
yeah, yeah.
this?
You both can answer.
Oh, I wonder if we'll both give different answers to that.
We're
All
about to
right, let's
find
keep it
out.
rapid. All right. So we can go
Um,
first on all the answers, so we'll keep it rapid.
Okay. All
okay,
right.
perfect. What is your go-to gluten-free, gut-friendly snack?
Chicka chicka.
Yeah, I guess I'll go with that.
What is your favorite way to enjoy fennel seeds as a snack, in tea, or sprinkled on top of something?
Just straight up as a snack.
Yep, straight up, right after a meal.
Perfect. And what is your favorite Chikka Chikka flavor?
Ooh, cardamom for me.
Cinnamon.
Okay, nice. And you guys are like 50-50. I think like half the same, half half not. That's
We need the overlap and we need the
yeah.
complementarity, right? So,
Yeah. So I always like to close with this question. So growing up, my dad would always say, whether it's about food or people or life, that things should be good to you, good for you, and good with you. When it comes to gluten-free, gut-friendly eating, what does this mean to you? And you both can answer.
You want to go first, Darf?
well, I don't know. That's great advice.
Yeah, I know. I
Say
don't
that
know.
again. Good for you. It's worth repeating.
Yeah, good
Good for
to
you.
you,
Good to
good
you.
for you, and good with you.
Yeah. That's solid. So what do you
Mhm.
want me to say on top of that?
Like a mic drop statement.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess if there's
What can I?
anything that for you that it means when it comes to like that like healthy eating, the gut-friendly, gluten-free eating?
Yeah, I mean, it's great advice. But within that, there's another phrase I like. It's like everything in moderation, including moderation.
Mm,
So,
Hmm.
what I love about that is it just leaves room for randomness and
mhm,
oddities, and not everything needs to be rigid. So, I would say, um, I would abide by your dad's sage advice, but then always leave room for outliers.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I think that the advice is sound, and I think it's something to keep in the back of your mind. And at the same time, I think there's always that where I find delight in trying new things, and so being open to exploring, and maybe it's to discover whether something is good to you, for you, and with you. Um, that trying and being open to things, and then and seeing how you resonate with them.
yeah. Wow. Okay, this has been really, really great. Thank you so much, Sabine and Arif, for joining me on the Eat with Dominique podcast. It was great to learn about Chikka Chikka and your journey and like turning this traditional Indian digestive into something for everyone that we can enjoy that's delicious and good for us as well. For anyone who's looking for a flavorful snack or topping or something in their tea, they should go to chikkachikka.com and buy some Chikka Chikka. Also follow them on Instagram at eat_chikka_chikka. And thank you guys so much.
Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you so much for having us. This has
Yeah.
been really lovely.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Eat with Dominique. It was great learning from Arif and Sabeen about Chikka Chikka and the power of the fennel seed for so many of our gut challenges and digestive needs. If you're interested in trying the power of fennel for yourself, Arif and Sabeen have offered a special discount exclusively for Eat with Dominique listeners and newsletter subscribers. You can use code Eat with Dominique, all caps, to get 15% off your entire order at chikkachikka.com/eat with Dominique. A minimum purchase of $20 is required. I've also included the link and the code in the episode description to make it easy. And if this conversation resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever tried fennel for digestion? And do you think you might now? Let me know. And if you decide to try it, the code again is Eat with Dominique, all caps, for 15% off. If you like this episode, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. And if you have a gluten-free, allergy-friendly, or gut-sensitive friend who needs better options, send this episode their way. We'd love to have them. This podcast is all about actionable tips, trustworthy brands, and real strategies to make gluten-free, gut-friendly living easier, tastier, and pain-free. So remember, whether it's life or food, make sure it's always good to you, good for you, and good with you. I'll see you soon.